top of the world, about to jump above it. Take it straight to the moon, 'cause we know how to rock it. Ain't no thing you can do, ain't no way to stop it. Now you're feeling it too, let's get it started. Throw your hands in the air while the beat is dropping. Acting like you don't care when everybody's watching. Just keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too, let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them all to believers, break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted, yeah, now let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. I'm ready. Are you ready, ready? I'm ready. Let's get it started. Yeah, yeah. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Let's go. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Give me something new. Time to break it loose. Take it to another level. Now we on the move. Shout if you coming with me. Going over the limit. On your mark, keep it steady. So tell me, are you ready? I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to iRacing on LSRTV and those that are listening on the Community Radio Network. We're getting ready for the next round of the Northwest Truck Series. We are at Dover Motor Speedway, and of course, these best drivers of the Pacific Northwest are ready to go at it again here. Should be an exciting one on the 1 mile that used to be a horse racing track. Believe it or not, when Dover was first made in the first state of the Commonwealth of Delaware, it was, of course, a horse racing track. And then back in the late 60s, 70s, the decision was made to create the 1 mile concrete surface that is the Dover Motor Speedway. We welcome you to coverage tonight. I am Wesley Outland, joined alongside, back from vacation, is Samuel Dyer. And, of course, Samuel, we're getting ready for a great race here tonight with the trucks. Dover, this place never disappoints. This should be an exciting race tonight.
It really should. I'm excited for tonight. Again, like I said, going to concrete, Dover, the Monster Mile, a track the drivers are going to be really tested on their tire wear conservation, as well as if we can stay with long green flag runs. These drivers more so is going to be talking about tire wear throughout the night than fuel runs, as these drivers are only going to be having about 3 sets of tires in pit road with 1 faster pair to work with. But Wesley, I think the one thing that's been so fun to look at this season, 4 different races, 4 different winners. I wonder if we're going to keep that streak up here tonight.
Well, as you know, that streak ended the other night, of course, for the Northwest Cup Series, as we saw Caden Anderson pick up the win at Atlanta and Las Vegas. And, of course, there's been Caden Anderson and these other drivers that have won so far on the Northwest Truck Series. Matter of fact, let's give you the point standings, Samuel and I, as we work into round number 4 completed from last week at Las Vegas, moving into round 5 here tonight at Dover. Caden Anderson, Samuel, leading the point standings. He has a 7-point lead over Beaver State Racing driver Dennis Moore. Teammate to Dennis Moore, Stephen O'Hare, is 21 back. And guess what? There is a 3-way tie for 3rd through 6th, or 3rd through 5th between O'Hare, Sean Breitzman, and Dan Lowther. Then you have Cole Raz, Kenneth Garber right there between mere points of one another. Dan West Jr., the 2-time and defending Truck Series champion, 27 points back in 8th. Kevin Smith, winner at, of course, the race at Richmond. He is in a 3-way tie. Also Samuel, with Ryan Bloom, the ARCA champion of last year, and Tyler King, the top 11, separated by only 28 points. That's pretty darn close.
Yeah, and then you've also got some newcomers that have really started to show themselves in 12th, where you find that of Cameron Iverson. You've also got Paul Newton, normally known for road course racing, going to be tied for 12th. And then Robert Gamble, Troy Daggett, Jeff Stabnow, John Ottenbacher, our winner from Daytona, as well as that Will Duvall, Ray Fortner, and Dean Moore going to be your top 20 in points. And all those drivers, they've shown a lot of good pace for themselves. But I got to say, Dan Lowther, probably the biggest surprise in my eyes, 5th in points, and it's been that consistency for a lot of these drivers. You know, for Caden Anderson, I think he comes in as our odds-on favorite for tonight's race, just because the last time we were here at Dover, Caden Anderson led the most laps and had, you know, had a decent qualifying run of 8th place. But I gotta say, Anderson's gonna look like a very fast truck to look for here tonight.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. His qualifying is on track right now, man. These drivers are continuing to make their way around the racetrack and get things started, and we'll see how things develop as, again, the best lap put down on the speedway is the way things will go. So this should be exciting and fun to watch as these drivers work their way around the speedway. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're with us. This should be a fun time here tonight, as again, these drivers of the Pacific Northwest battle it here. And right now, how about Tyler King quickly going to the top of the board? Man, how about that? Impressive, Samuel.
I mean, it's impressive, but if you look at the trends, he did it last time they were here at Dover. He had the pole position, but did not finish the way that he wanted. He only finished 8th, 1 lap down as they went into a long green flag run. But this 21 certainly is a driver that's got that raw pace for qualifying.
Yep, certainly did, and we'll watch them right now and see what they can do as we look here at James Vining, the Catman, working his way around the racetrack now, the 3:33 entry. To what type of laps he puts on the board here.
That's going to see the 3:33 topping the board. Oh, Wesley, look at that speed.
Wow. Props to the Catman. Is he making his presence felt tonight or what?
I mean, there are so many drivers. Dover, an opportunist type of a track. It is one of those tracks where you really focus on the entry of the corner and when to get back into the throttle, and easily can make mistakes here under qualifying. But if you can hit your marks, you certainly can do well. Will Duvall going to be coming across the line here for the 85 for that first lap for himself. Going to be 13th, but that second lap is always the faster one. Here comes the 85 at 2.
Vining, King, Duncan, Campbell, Garber right now, top 5 as it stands. And look at now the native out of West Virginia originally, and now Duvall coming across the line. Where will he end up? 11th on the scoring ticker right now, so that's good. See if he can climb any further. Stab now in the top 15 also.
I mean, it's a very good qualifying time for Jeff Stabnow, who's going to need to get himself up on top of the board. It's been an odd first start of the season, but here comes the 23. Clifford is on that truck now, as that is Toby Ritter's doing well for himself. Jeff Stabnow, I want to give a note though, did bump up to 5th as his 23 is on track.
Man, what a job that Toby Ritters did the other night, of course, if you remember, in the Cup car. Got involved in an accident in the late rally, but he battled and did a phenomenal job along the way to be there at the end, and that's exactly what you've got to do. Here comes Ritters now in that Clifford truck. We always call him Clifford in the Budweiser machine. Chevrolet finishing up with his lap. Ritters will be 19th overall. Here comes Cole Raz. Raz and Anderson, Samuel, they went at it tooth and nail at Vegas in the Cup cars on Monday night, and it prevailed for Anderson to win. Raz had to settle for a top 10 finish, and now we'll see what he can do tonight in the number 10.
Anderson going to bump up to 5th place. Cole Raz going to be 7th after his first lap, but both drivers 37 and 10. Caden Anderson Racing have been the top dogs for qualifying. Anderson's gotten 2 poles this season in the trucks. Cole Raz trying to put his name on top of the board here out of turn number 4, and for the 10 here, Wesley looks good as Kevin Smith takes the top of the board here for the moment, and Raz only able to get up to 4th as he spins it out, being done with his time.
Yeah, man, got together, put it on the wall. We'll have to let him reset to try to start over again, and keep an eye on that. My goodness, problems there for him. And all the while, here comes down Dan Lowther. Dan Lowther was on the pole at Vegas, of course, on Monday night. What a wild race that was. Justin Prince, myself on the call for that one, as now Dan Lowther works his way across the start finish. Where will he end up being? 9th on the scoring ticker. And we got quite a field of trucks here ready to go, Samuel, tonight. Close to 30-plus entries ready to go, 200 miles, 134 laps at Dover.
This will be 34 to 35. Trucks ready as Dan Lowther finishing up his last lap here for qualifying for the 63. Able to go up to 3rd for Dan Lowther.
Sean Breitzman, 2020 Northwest Cup Series champion. Also one of those contenders that you can never count out, whether in the truck or the car. And Sean Breitzman originally from Puyallup, Washington, the Breitz Boutique Toyota. And Breitzman now in Phoenix, Arizona, or Tucson, Arizona. And we'll see what his Toyota can do as he works into the 3rd turn on the concrete here at Dover Motor Speedway. He'll go, well, he got sideways, he's in the wall, loses time. Where will he end up?
That's going to be 23rd.
Wow.
Invalidated lap because he had hit the wall in that last lap. Invalidates it. So we stuck with this first lap, which is going to be only good enough for 23rd. And Wesley, this has been a bad trend for that of Sean Breitzman. That is going to be his 3rd time qualifying outside of the top 20.
Man, that's heartbreaking there for that driver, of course, of Sean Breitzman. So qualifying's concluded. Let's take a look real quickly at the race 411 on the bottom left of the monitor. We'll let you know what's going on here tonight at the Dover Motor Speedway as qualifying has concluded. And believe it or not, the Richmond winner out of Hermiston, Washington, Kevin Smith, is going to be the man that is going to be on the pole. If we look at the race information for tonight, I guess they don't have it. They've been having some overlay issues, people. So basically tonight's race will be 200 miles, 134 laps, basically the distance for this event tonight for the trucks here at the Dover Motor Speedway. Actually, correction, my apologies, that was last week. It is 140 miles, 140 laps, Samuel. So they're going to go 140 laps here tonight at the Dover Motor Speedway. So if it's not caution field, Samuel, this race could fly by fairly quickly.
That it really could. Some drivers, if this race does stay green, could try to turn this race into a one-stop type of a run. Others could try to turn this into a two-stop type of a race. Kind of matters on the tires and how much tire wear these drivers are going to deal with. As qualifying has concluded here, Wesley, 140 laps here at Dover. We're getting ready for these trucks to roar off from.
Yes, sir. In just a few moments, we'll give you the Team 126 Racing starting lineup. There's been some broadcasts where we've been able to show you the lineup as we get the field gridded behind the pace car. We got a field of them, and they're ready to go here. So the starting lineup for this race here tonight, I guess there's not going to be any overlay, so let's give you the lineup here. We'll do it really, really quickly, Charles. Kevin Smith is on the pole. He is the fast qualifier from Hermiston, Washington. To his outside, what a job for the Catman, James Vining. He'll be on the front row. Dan Lowther and Tyler King, they'll make up row number 2. Row number 3 will find Cole Raz and Casey Duncan. Row 4, the 44 of Dennis Moore, and the Cup winner at Vegas on Monday, Caden Anderson in 38. He's also the points leader after 4 rounds. Row number 5 will find Paul Newton in the 27, and Jeff Stabnow in the 24, your top 10 here at Dover.
And in 11th, you're going to find that of Troy Daggett with Robert Gamble, going to be in that row number 6. Row 7 is going to be that of Ryan Bloom, as well as Casey Garber, going to be on the outside. Then row 9, we're going to be finding behind them, going to be Roy Grande, as well as Carl Burke, Bryce Clark, and that of Nichols. Gary Nichols going to be in that number 8, going to be 18th, with that of David Applegate. Frank Harris finishing out your top 20.
Moving on to the next row, of course, it's going to be 21st, Brett Johnson of the number 7. John Ottenbacher, the 2-time Daytona truck winner, he'll start 22nd. Row 11, row 12 will be the champion, of course, of B.J. Duval. Sean Breitzman was there, but he actually got dropped. So something's going on with Sean Breitzman. He was supposed to start 23rd, but it's actually now going to be B.J. Duval and Toby Ritters. Row 13 will be Eric Cox and Tyler Kim. Row 14 on the grid, Aaron Cooper, B.J. Tidrick. Ray Fournier, Scott Hutchinson, Frank Harris, your top 30.
And it's going to be that of Ron Hunter, that of Chris Caramere. Caramere going to be also that of Dane Rogers. Going to be finishing out your 34 trucks potentially running as the 15 and the 07 have not gotten on track yet. Only that of 32 trucks on track currently.
140 miles, 140 laps. We're ready to go. Of course, as always, Rocket Media Live Sim Racing on the production. Thanks to Charles Wooten, Jeff Stabnow, Samuel Dyer. I'm Wesley Outland. Buckle up, hold on tight. It's time to roar on the concrete of the Dover Motor Speedway. Round 5 of the Northwest Truck Series comes to the line out of turn number 4. Green flag goes up any moment. It's in the air. Kevin Smith gets a great jump over Kevin Smith and gets a great jump over James Vining is what I was meaning to say. And ladies and gentlemen, Samuel Dyer, you have a race. We're underway here at the concrete at Dover.
A little bit of a hesitation on that start, but already early blocking. Smith going to be trying to hold off the Catman at 333, and that's a great defensive move. But watch out for the 10. Cole Raz, he's going to be hungry to get up front early.
The Catman, one lap in, trying to settle in the number 2 spot. He's on the bottom of the racetrack. And quickly Raz on the attack on the outside lane. The conga line with 4 trucks now, single file. Then it's going to be 2 by 2 by 2 with Tyler Kim, John Ottenbacher, Will Duvall. That battle's going on inside the top 15 as they go to turn 3.
We're going to be seeing, honestly, a lot of different drivers cycling through. There's Jeff Stabnow going to be inside of the top 10. Caden Anderson, the driver that won this race last season, going to be back in 9th position. And currently the 37 got a lot of work. But right now, Jeff Stabnow really under pressure. And Stabnow was the driver that actually came away 2nd for this track last season. We'll see if the 24 and the 37 climb their way back up in the top 5 like they did last year.
No harm, no foul. Trucks work their way off the corner with Stabnow. Now really the men. Look at this battle now, trying to heat up for the lead as the outside pole truck Vining falls back to 3rd. Raz, the number 10, moves to 2nd. Vining howling off Lawler for that spot, going to 3.
Right now, is all patience on Kevin Smith, just trying to get a better launch, but right now gets a little bit too overzealous on the exit of turn 4, has to let off, and here comes that of Raz. Smith being the 00 and spinning. Smith.
Oh no. Smith to the wall. Lawler with contact. Here comes Tyler King. Paul Newton plows in there, and they're still wrecking behind them. Frank Harris, Carl Burke, a parking lot, Ottenbacher, Breitzman, Kim. They all had to get on the binders. Briar Reynolds, Aaron Cooper. A massive, close to 15 truck pileup in turn 1, and this is where it all started.
This aggressive, try defensive move, and then it goes into gridlock after everyone spins out. Just drivers not able to get out of the way. A complete stop over that of about 15, almost 20 trucks, all involved in the first wreck of the race on just that lap number 4.
Oh my goodness. Look at this calamity. It's just a log jam off of that 2nd corner at first in turns 1 and 2. Nowhere to go for anybody, and it all started with some contact battling between Raz and Kevin Smith and Vining. And all the while, Raz comes out with the big grin because he's become the new leader of this race. But Dennis Moore able to miss it. Lawler able to miss it as well, Samuel. But it is a parking lot of cleanup going on over there. A lot of trucks taking fast repairs or at least going on the damage clock to try to at least fix some minor repairs in the early going here at Dover.
Yeah, there's going to be a few drivers that are going to have to use a fast repair. That is Jeff Stabnow, Tyler King, both going to be on the list of drivers with required damage where they have to come in and get those damage repairs. Dana Rogers is going to be the first car officially out of this race to not even make the grid, but fast repairs are going to have to be used, and This has got to be frustrating for some. Toby Ritters is going to be another driver that I had to use faster pairs. Jeff Stabnow had to use one, and expecting Tyler King as well, and Tyler Kim, all using their faster pairs here in the first yellow on just that of lap 7 of 140.
Yeah, this is frustration, man. I mean, obviously, you know, and do you say Raz is at fault, Samuel? I mean, was it a racing deal, or do you think that maybe there was a little too much aggressive driving going on here virtually in the early going?
I mean, it was a mixture of both. I mean, you had that of Kevin Smith in the 00. He was leading this race. He was already making very defensive blocks over James Vining just on lap 1. And then the 10 got a better launch out of turn 4, thought he could poke the nose and maybe spook the 00 out of the way, which did not happen. Smith just took the corner like usual, and I would consider that more of a racing incident of both drivers wanting to get to the same real estate. Only one truck fits there, and it ensued into the big one here on lap number 4 of the race.
So again, no harm, no foul for guys like Cole Raz, Dennis Moore, Dan Lowther, Duncan Anderson clearing by the accident after this massive, oh my goodness, how many trucks were involved in that wreck there, Samuel? I was thinking, what, close to 15?
15 to almost
15.
20. Yeah, I mean, it's the majority of the field. That's what happens when you're in the first, you know, less than 5 laps into the race, and the leader is the one that's spinning in front of the field. You know it's going to be big.
Charles, Samuel, that was borderline Talladega Daytona wreck right there.
Oh, absolutely. That was the big one. And what's interesting here at Dover is that might not be the only time that this happens.
That's
There's
true.
always the opportunity that we could see another massive wreck of the leaders having complications again. But at the same time, we're hoping that that does not happen, and these drivers are able to stay green, as there's still multitudes of drivers in pit road still. Tyler King is still in pit road, looking like he's going to have to take the required damage manually. You also are going to have that of Casey Garber still in pit road, and also the Nichols finally getting out of his pit box. So there's a multitude of drivers that are hoping that they can get back out on track, but are still in pit road.
And to be honest with you, we still have a lot of racing here left to go. This race, mind you, is 140 miles, 140 laps here tonight. And still a lot of racing remains. So we're glad you're here. Thanks for joining us. Of course, among the week, all this great coverage. We've got Nazareth LTAC tomorrow night. And then we take off for a couple of days. We come back for a reset on Monday, Sim 500 on the dirt. On the dirt at Bristol. And then, of course, the race again for the Northwest Cup Series, always a fun event. We'll keep an eye on that one. That is, of course, the Northwest Cup and Truck Series every Monday and Thursday night right here, iRacing on LSRTV. And yes, after a race won by Caden Anderson, the Bristol Dirt event is also going to be for iRacing on LSRTV for the Northwest Cup Series. That is coming up. So, yeah, man, this is going to be fun. Martinsville next Monday night for the Sim 500. Bottom line, Samuel, if you like short track racing, LSRTV for iRacing is where you need to be next Monday for Sim 500 and the Northwest Cup Series, whether it's on the dirt at Bristol or the Cup Sim 500 at Martinsville.
Yeah, there's a lot of good short track racing we're getting excited about. Is the field a little bit jostled right now because of the fact that there was such a log jam of drivers not able to get going immediately when the yellow happened, and the pace car actually passed that of 8 drivers. They were not able to stay on the lead lap, and actually are going to be forced. They thought they were going to get the wave around, but are forced now to go all the way to the end of the line. Ray Forner, Scott Hutchinson, Carl Burke, Will Duvall, Karamer, as well as other drivers like Aaron Cooper, all now going to be going a lap down, leaving us with only our top 20 now. Wesley will be on the lead lap.
That's right, Phil, to get ready. We're still under caution, mind you. I think we've, gone 6 laps under caution because, Samuel, they're trying to fix the calamity. They're trying to reset time and scoring. There's a whole bunch that's going on right now, and the Steel race director has not called for the one to go yet.
Yeah, there was an extra lap. There might be 2 extra laps added just to make sure that all the drivers, because of the 8 drivers that were in front of our leader of Cole Raz, that were hoping that they could take a wave around, they were not, so they had to fall back, losing time on that. And because of how many drivers had to go to the end of the line, want to add an extra lap just to make sure. And it's looking like these drivers, they might be even add another lap just to make sure that everyone is set before we start going. So race directors and race control has been telling the drivers, hey, we're going to add a couple of more laps. Let's clean this up. Let's get everyone in line where they need to be. And we'll get back to green flag racing.
Yeah, we'll get ready, hopefully, to get ready to turn them loose here in just a couple of moments as the lights are still on the pace car. But as I said, next Monday night, we're at the Bristol Dirt Race. Samuel, I think we're going to try to bring you in for that race on next Monday night because, you know, our colleague, normally Justin Prince, has got a pretty, what he was telling me, late night broadcast for iRacing. And I think, man, it'd be cool to have you join us for the dirt race for Cup because you missed the truck race for dirt a couple of weeks ago.
I missed the truck one because I was on vacation, but I still don't know. My schedule is also very fluid and unknowing of what I'm going to be. I'm hoping I might be able to get in the booth for that Monday night dirt track racing, but it's not fully confirmed just yet. We're still going to have someone else on standby if I'm not able to, but I would love to be there Monday night.
But as I said, it's still hashtag fake news at the moment. So, looks like the wave around's being given, so that means the field is going to come down the front straightaway, and the pace car lights will go off this time by. The 1 to go is given to the field, and that means we will get ready. Well, no, they kept the pace car lights on. Normally on the wave around lap, they normally signify 1 to go, but Samuel, they must have a really serious timing and scoring ticker problem here they're trying to fix.
Yeah, like I said, those 8 drivers that were hoping to get a wave around because of the way that the whole entire wreck was, they were disputing, hey, we deserve to be on the lead lap. This isn't right for us to go a lap down for what happened. And so right now, all those drivers are getting their wave arounds. Chris Karamer, as well as that of Carl Burke, Will Duvall, Eric Cooper, Frank Harris, all were get the 1 to go when they cross the line this go around, as everyone should be back on the lead lap, which is going to be leaving us, instead of just 20 trucks on the lead lap, with now 27 that will be on the lead lap.
And the reason why, we just had a massive pileup, shades of a Talladega Daytona crash, if you will, just a few moments ago into turn number 1. And they have just totally ramsacked the running order and the scoring pylon because of it, with trucks having to come down and get rear repairs and work done. So with that being said, maybe this time around, maybe, just maybe, the lights will go off on the pace car and we'll be able to go back to green flag. It's Cole Raz up in front, Dennis Moore second, and yes, no, still the lights stay on the pace car. Dennis Moore second, Dan Lowther third. Scott Hutchinson is now going by everybody. That is one of the trucks getting a wave around. So you saw Hutchinson fly by.
Yeah, there's an issue
timing
with that.
the timing and scoring is so screwed up right now. Hutchinson should give up that spot back, right? Wouldn't that put him a lap ahead of everybody?
The issue that happened was, at the time, they thought Scott Hutchinson was still a lap down. They were wrong on giving him the wave around. They're now going to be giving him the EOL, make sure that he's at the end of the line, but still on the lead lap. So there was just, again, they gave themselves an extra about 4 or 5 laps of extra pacing laps just to make sure that everyone's set. So I know that, you know, we want to get back to green flag racing. We also want to make sure everyone's in the right position.
We do.
To get back to green flag racing action.
You're exactly right. We certainly do, and we want to make sure we have exactly everything right and have everybody in the right place. We don't want to make anybody feel like they're being cheated or you know, not being given the right position. So obviously, if we have to go a couple more laps under caution, which I guess right now, I think we got what, Samuel, 4 green flag laps in, so of 13. This is 10 laps now under caution?
Yeah, 10 lap caution. This is an unusual thing that happens. Usually it's 5
All right,
to
1
6
to go.
laps. So we're getting ready now.
Lights are off on the pace car. So we will get ready to re-rack them and restack them. We'll go back to green flag next time by. And again, we'll set them up for you now with time and scoring correct. Cole Raz and Dennis Moore, row 1. Dan Lowther, Mr. Duncan there, the 17. Of course, that's Casey Duncan, row 2. Row 3 finds Caden Anderson, the Vegas winner on Monday, the points leader for the Truck Series. Also in the series in 5th, Bloom alongside the 2021 ARCA Northwest champion, Robert Gamble and Brett Johnson, row 4. John Ottenbacher, the 2-time and this year's Daytona Truck winner, and B.J. Tidrick, who only has 1 Northwest Series win. And Samuel, they have waved off the restart. The lights are back on the pace car.
Yeah.
Wow.
So at this point, everyone's still kind of complaining about where they're at on track. And so race control has said, okay, we're going to give you one more lap. Make sure you're in the right spot. And once you're in the spot that you believe you're supposed to be in, we're going to go green. We'll clear black flags so everyone is good. All right, let's get back to racing. And this is your last time to make sure things are set. So the lights will go off this time by. There should be no more extra laps given. Because this has been a long one. 10 laps now, 11 laps.
11 laps
under
now.
pacing. I know the drivers getting antsy after only 4 green flag laps, and I know for sure that of Kevin Smith, he wants to get back to green flag racing. That 00 back in 29th position, 1 lap down. Wesley, it's a lot of work for the 00.
You know what this reminds me of, Samuel? About 2 years ago, I was on the NASCAR Cup Series broadcast team at Charlotte Motor Speedway at the Bank of America Roval event. And if you remember, there was like a 10-lap shootout, and for about 5 or 6 caution laps, they were coming to the line, getting ready to take the green flag, and when they came back to the Toyota restart zone, they'd send the pace car lights back on, and it would make everybody just be in excitement and awe, and then just disbelief. And again, they done it again! They did it again! For the 3rd time they've done it!
Yeah, I believe they're going to be giving that of Ray Fordair a chance to get back on the lead lap, but I believe he was already on the lead lap, so this is going to be an odd way to get him back on. And so everyone is, the majority of the drivers right now that are disputing right now, there's frustration just because of the drivers that are lapped down or involved in that wreck who feel like, I should not have been left a lap down, but because they were involved in the wreck and everything that had happened, that's why the confusion is going on. So those drivers, they're still hoping that we're going to go green. But again, we have to wait until we get past the ally side. I think at that point we'll know if we're going or not.
So we'll try this one more time. They're going to try to put the lights on off on the pace car for the 3rd time, the 4th time. I feel like I'm at Charlotte now. Because over the 3rd time in a row, they were coming to the green, and then they, got ready to commit and called it off. So, all right, let's try this one more time, shall we? We gave you the top 10. The field is set. The lights are still off on the pace car. Raz and Moore on the front row. After a massive, close to 15, 20 car pile up in turn number 1 and 2 to get things started here tonight at the Dover Motor Speedway for round number 5. All right, they're getting ready to get serious now. 2 by 2 by 2, like Noah leading the animals to the ark. As my great colleague and friend Dustin Jarrett always says, pace car drops onto the pit lane. Here they come, back to the Lucas Oil restart zone off of turn number 4, green flag back in the air. And look at Cole Raz and the jump he got over everybody. Whole shot to the 10, we're back underway.
A complete opposite restart of what Kevin Smith did at the start of the race. Just took off immediately and further back in the field. I mean, these drivers are now racing. This is 4th place, Wesley, and already 4th place, going to be over a 2.5 seconds back from our leader.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We'll keep an eye on that as they work their way back off of the corner. Down the straightaway, finally got another lap recorded at speed with Raz and Moore. There you see Bloom. Bloom back to 4th, trying to get around Duncan. Here comes Brett Johnson, man. What a jump for him. He's in 10th. Annenbacher in front of him. Also, Stabnow coming. You see the scoring ticker? They show you the complete top 10 and then the rest of the rundown of the 30-plus trucks on the racetrack as we're coming in on 20 laps, this time by complete.
Driver going to be slow. That's going to be 63. Dan Lowther got very close, and there's wrecking in the back.
Caution is out. Problem again, 2nd time on the concrete jungle. That is Dover Motor Speedway. Oh, we have to find out who it is here. Is that Ray Fournier, the 26?
There were a bunch of different drivers involved with this, but Caramere as well as Burke and some others. We're hoping that we can get the replay again. There's been some technical issues that have been popping up. We're hoping that it will get cleaned up, but yeah, there was a massive pileup on the front stretch that brought up this yellow. We might see it here from the blimp cam that can show us off, but it looks like we might not have the replay exactly for this one. But there are multiple of drivers that have major damage, required damage needed Will Duvall, Tyler Kim, that of also Bryce Clark, Frank Harris, all drivers that need repairs. And for Tyler Kim and a couple of those other drivers, they had already used their fast repairs, meaning that this could be a race-ending incident for some of those drivers.
Raz, Moore, Anderson, Duncan, Bloom, top 5. As we have completed 20 laps, we're on lap number 21 now. Well, my thing is, Samuel, I hope it don't take 13 laps to try to reset the field for a restart.
Yeah, I don't think that long this go around, as it was not the majority of the field that was caught up in this one, and everyone was able to get moving much sooner than the last incident that happened. So these drivers should not be in too much of bad shape. But back on the lead lap, you see him there. It's the 00. Kevin Smith, he is back on the lead lap, going to be 25th currently. Could gain a couple of more positions based on the amount of drivers that came into pit road with damage because of green flag racing. Some drivers actually had gotten into the outside wall, like Dan Lowther and a couple of others. But our first official DNF of the drivers that took the green, Roy Grande, and the 18 is done.
Back in the saddle again. Second caution. Cole Raz is the man up in front, the number 10. Dennis Moore for Beaver State Racing. Nice run, sending to that number 2 position. Casey Duncan. Samuel, let's talk about Duncan real quick, man. This driver has definitely been somebody to watch. Couple of races in Cup in the early going, but definitely on the truck side of things.
Yeah, I mean, Duncan has certainly been a driver that's been kind of I've been shaking my head just in awe of some of the runs that he has. He's been looking for some strong finishes throughout this season, but I got to say, for that Duncan, he certainly has shown at race pace at times, but he needs to have the good luck to finish out these races and finish upside in the top 10 and top 5.
Certainly is, man, for sure, man. Thanks for those that are watching iRacing on LSRTV, listening on the Community Radio Network. And again, Cole Raz is the man currently that is the leader up in front. Cole Raz, a real race car driver. He competes on the Spears SRL Southwest Tour. He runs on the SRL National Tour that is coming up. You'll never be hard-pressed to not find him, whether it's in Nevada or Washington State or going down to California or Arizona. Tucson, he will go all over, just like, of course, his friend and winner at in the Cup race on Monday night at Vegas. He's also a truck race winner here, also for the season. Points leader, Caden Anderson from Yakima, Washington. And Samuel, it's crazy enough, man. We've said it on the Cup side on Monday night with Justin and myself, and I say it with you, my friend. These drivers, Cole Raz and Caden Anderson, have just been a friend foe to everyone else, if you will, on this series this year. Coming down to the wire, you can never count out Cole Raz or Caden Anderson. They're always in the hunt.
Yeah, I mean, you can't count them out, but they've also have a really bad reputation also when it comes to these nights of racing, of kind of pulling some bad shenanigans. I mean, last season, even almost last week, we were questioning if there was some more shenanigans of wrecking on purpose going on to give advantages to themselves. They've got fast trucks, but whenever they seem to be set in a disadvantaged point of view of on their back foot, it seems like they always find a way to kind of ruffle somebody's feather to bring it out of yellow.
And that's why I like you in the broadcast booth on color, Samuel, because you will tell it like it is for sure. And definitely there has been some times where they have, for certain, done some things that might be questionable, that have might made some foes with some of these guys on the racetrack. But there you see your top 10 and the rest of the 34 trucks. Some trucks are out of it already. We'll go through that here in just a moment as the field will make their way back to the Dryden restart zone off of turn number 4 here at the Dover Motor Speedway. Samuel, we're about to go back to green here.
That we are in a much better launch, but no more. Gets wheel spinning up into the outside wall. Here it comes out of Anderson.
Into the wall, Anderson ready to pounce, but could not hold off Duncan. Well, he finally clears him off too. Meanwhile, here comes Moore. He'll scamper away and pull from him. Anderson now behind his tailgate. He's right up there on them, working their way on the conga line into 3 and 4. Now, where will Raz make his move? He leads off the corner. Anderson, his friend's coming. He's got to get around more from the Beaver State clan as they go to turn 1 single file.
right now, our top three, they're feeling good and comfortable. Oh, going to be about a second difference between first to third. But then you go back to fourth, and it's almost a full 2-second difference between first to fourth place. That of Casey Duncan going to be having to find a little bit more speed as he's being pressured currently by that of Ryan Bloom, and as well going to be watching out for that of Robert Gamble and that of BJ Tidrick finding a little bit of speed for themselves.
Working their way around the racetrack again, all these drivers fighting and clawing for these positions. All the while, out in front, of course, it is Cole Raz, Anderson second. Look at this now. Bloom and Duncan 4 and 5 cross the line as we approach 30 laps in.
Duncan's going to hope, again, to have a good run for himself, but here is BJ Tidrick, one of our biggest movers of the night, up 22 positions for the 72, up currently in 7th, but qualified all the way back in 29th spot. And really, for right now, one of the highest runners for the drivers that did not put down a qualifying time. BJ Tidrick, this is a great showing for the 72 that, you know, every once in a while at these short tracks just shows that extra speed to be up in the top 5.
Certainly does, and we'll keep an eye on that as they work their way back around the racetrack at 30 laps, close it in on 100 laps remaining. This race, 140 miles, 140 laps on the concrete jungle. That is the virtual Dover Motor Speedway. And that's something that's also recently changed in real life as well as on the simulator as well, Samuel. Remember, Dover used to be owned by ISC, International Speedway Corporation. It was known as Dover International Raceway. Now it is Dover Motor Speedway because Bruton and Marcus Smith own from Speedway Motorsports Incorporated this track now, and they've changed the name.
I'm wondering if they're going to think about changing anything else about this track. We love the fact that it's concrete and the racing action that it brings, and also the toughness that this track could be at times. It's battling for 6th position. Going to be that of Robert Gamble, losing traction on the high line. Going to worry about that outside wall. Lose that 6th place position to BJ Tidrick. And that's the one thing about this track that I hope that doesn't get changed. The exit of these corners, so difficult at times because of how much banking's in the corner and the transition to the straightaways. There's a little hump that you have to go over, and as well, the outside wall feels like it's always reaching out, and it feels like a magnet or glue at times where your truck just wants to go into that outside wall. The driver's always going to be focusing. Don't get on the throttle too soon, or you can get some heavy right side damage.
So Samuel, in regards of what you just said a moment ago about Dover, I will tell you the only thing that I have heard from my NASCAR friends, peeps in the media, is possibly lights. Not official yet, but obviously we know SMI tracks are always lit up.
I mean, that would be a fun dynamic to see.
He is leading the way. Caden Anderson in second. Dennis Moore third. Casey Duncan fourth. Ryan Bloom currently your top 5, as that is the way it stands right now, as we are approaching 33, now making 34 laps in this race here tonight as we are closing in on 100 remaining, Samuel.
Yeah, 100 remaining, and right now, I mean, for these drivers, we're seeing how the 7 is trying to climb his way through. This is Brett Johnson, who's catching up to Paul Newton, James Vining, a couple of drivers that have already used their faster pairs, that being Vining and also Newton, and that safety net not being there anymore. They've got to be worrisome as we're coming up to 100 laps to go.
Yeah, 35 now of 140 with Cole Raz still the man out in front. And there you see the cat man, James Vining, started this race on the outside front row. Now trying to get around Ottenbacher. Johnson behind them as well. And Samuel, some drivers we want to mention that are climbing. Ryan Bloom 5th. Tidrick up to 6th. Robert Gamble, Jeff Stabnow 7th and 8th. They're in the top 10.
Yeah, big thing for Jeff Stabnow. He was involved in that major lap 4 accident. I thought that he was going to fall outside of the top 20 potentially, but because of how many drivers were involved and how quick the 24 was able to go in, use the fast repair, get back out on track, actually stayed inside of the top 15. And a couple of other drivers have been slowing down, having mistakes. Stabnow able to run 8th currently. This has been a great recovery after being involved in that first wreck. But again, another one of those drivers that does not have the fast repair. So that safety net is gone. Have to make sure that you keep a complete clean truck from here on out.
And they are certainly trying their best to do just that. We welcome you to coverage iRacing on LSRTV, the Community Radio Network, 87.5 FM in the Triangle of North Carolina. And Samuel Dyer, Wesley Outland here with you. Rocket Media, Charles Wooten, Jeff Stabnow on the production side of things. Round number 5 of the Pacific Virtual Best of iRacing, the Northwest Racing Series here at Dover Motor Speedway. We've had 2 caution flags. As Samuel, we are coming up on a century grind remaining on the concrete of Dover Motor Speedway tonight.
And right now, I'm watching the lap times as we're coming up to that of 100 laps to go. I mean, it's Cole Raz and also Katie Anderson. They've been looking quick, but one of the fastest trucks on track actually is just Stabnow that lap ago, but up front, it's that of Dennis Moore in the 44, who is catching up to Cole Raz. Also, they're catching up to lap traffic.
He certainly is, man. That's going on right now as they work their way back around. Another lap on the board. Keep an eye on them as this continues to ensue. Watch these trucks trying to reel each other in like bait on a pulse popper fishing hook. As right now, Raz is the leader. Moore is second, but Anderson, Duncan all trying to get back in that dance as well. As here comes Moore. A little shake right on the road to the leader, Raz, as they go to turn number 3.
Well, right now, Raz has got to defend the inside. He already knows what it's like when a driver gets underneath it. And it was Raz that took out Smith. Would it be Dean Moore that'd be willing to take out the 10 as these drivers are racing on? I mean, Dennis Moore certainly has the pace and speed over the 10. I mean, Wesley, there's always the difference of catching someone to passing them.
It is one thing to catch somebody. It is another thing to pass them. You are exactly right, Sammy D. As right now, Raz is cocking it sideways, dirt tracking it, if you will, off of turn number 4. Back to turn 1. Whole shot to the outside to Cole Raz. Here comes now the machine of the Beaver State machine of Dennis Moore. Inside, outside, nothing yet. Closing in on under 100 laps to go. And this battle for the lead goes on again off of turn number 4.
And I'm loving what I'm seeing from Cole Raz. He's giving just enough, about a half a truck length every single time of the entry, but he finally gives too big of an opening, and here comes Moore.
Blip, blip, open the door. Can he shut it? They're side by side. And you know Raz and Anderson, they'll battle and make contact, and these guys aren't even teammates. Sure, they're going to bump and bang for the lead. They're still side by side out of turn number 4.
The thing is, watch out the exit of the corner. Will Raz just back off, and it looks like he's still staying at the quarter panel. He needs to back off, though, and get underneath the 44, but Dennis Moore leads that lap. He is our new leader here at Dover.
Dennis Moore makes now the second different leader of this race here tonight for the Northwest Truck Series at Dover. Moore and Raz have been the front runners all night long. All the while, Beaver State Racing Machine, Dennis Moore to the lead. And Samuel, here's a quick stat on the driver of Dennis Moore. He currently is in a nice, comfortable spot in the point standings as well. Dennis Moore doing a phenomenal job in the Truck Series as we just keep an eye on all of these guys working around the racetrack. And again, Moore, the new top dog here tonight at Dover.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis Moore certainly is looking good, but the driver that we really never truly got to see what their long run setup was like, Kevin Smith, who was leading this race at the start, but then that lap 4 accident with Cole Raz got underneath the 00, spun him around. The 00 is going to be back in 13th position, but Cole Raz, I mean, Wesley, we're seeing it on screen, he's being caught by Keaton Anderson, and as well, a party behind the 37.
And here's something that you got to remember as well. Dennis Moore is second in the points, 7 points back to Caden Anderson, as you mentioned, Samuel, in third. So there's first, Raz third, Moore, Raz, Anderson. And it's all about track position and the way you finish. There's not stage breaks in the regular races that you see in Cup Truck and Xfinity for NASCAR for Northwest. Only like for races on the dirt at Knoxville and Bristol like next week for the Cup cars. But with that being said, Samuel, it's all about track position. And the better you can advance, the more points you go up on your opponent.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to get every single point that you can get early on. And just, I mean, the big thing at this point is a little bit of a jostle there and a checkup for the 37 onto the back bumper of Cole Raz. But, I mean, every point matters. You're trying to make sure at least you can point your way into the playoffs. I mean, you've got a lot, 4 races, 4 different winners. You want to make sure that you at least got a big enough gap. If you don't get a win, you can at least point your way into that playoffs.
Put yourself in some type of way, contention to be there at the end. when it counts the most, as again, these drivers are still continuing to battle here for a championship. I know we're only into race 5 of the season, but Samuel, as fast as this season starts, my friend, it will fly by and we will be in a race for the championship playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think already just 5 races in, and that's the one thing I'm most excited about. I know we get next week off, but man, I just love the fact that we are back to Northwest truck racing action and cup racing action on Mondays. I kind of missed it when we were during the off season, and now that it's back, it is just back to tradition of watching some great action here on LSRTV.
Hey, we're 50 laps in right now. Let's give you your full field rundown as it stands right now. And we did mention to you there are some trucks that are either out of the race or they are several laps down after that massive pile up on the start around lap number 5. Dennis Moore is the leader. Cole Raz is second. Caden Anderson is third. Brian Bloom is fourth. Casey Duncan comfortably in the top 5. Up 19 spots, Toby Ritter's in sixth. Then, of course, we also have Jeff Stapp now climbing, battling, getting around Ritter's now for 6th. So Ritter's will fall to 7th. Up 24 spots is Ron Hunter in 8th. Carl Burke is 9th. David Applegate, the top 10.
And Paul Noon's going to be in 11th. James Vining as well as Steve Ritter's in 13th as we're watching that of the 10 losing ground. But then it's going to be in 14th. Ron Hunter, Carl Burke, and that of David Applegate. Will Duvall, Aaron Cooper, Casey Carver, and Sean Breitzman finishing out your top 20.
21st is Chris Kamari. Gary Nichols is 22nd. BJ Tindrick 23rd. Dan Lowther 24th. 25th is Robert Campbell. 26th is John Onenbacher. 27th is James Vining, who started this race on the outside of the front row. Caught up in the accident, Paul Newton in 28th. Greg Johnson 29th, and Bryce Clark is in 30 of several laps down, including also Kevin Smith, Frank Harris, Roy Grande, Dana Rogers. The full field rundown as it stands right now. And as we mentioned, Samuel, as we approach double digits, 55 laps in, still here at Dover, there are still several trucks that are out of contention after that massive super speedway pileup in the early going.
Yeah, I mean, Roy Grande was one of the first drivers to be our DNF. Frank Harris was the most recent driver to call it a night because of too much damage. But internet issues, BJ Tindrick just dropped just that 5 laps ago, and it was because of internet issues, not because the car broke down. You hate to see it, but that's kind of the randomness that kind of kicks in. It's like when a random part kind of breaks down in real life. Don't expect it, and sometimes it strikes the worst times.
And we use the word internet issues, or something of that analogy to describe what would be engine woes or mechanical failure. And obviously, because this is an iRacing virtual simulation, Samuel, one of the most important engines to keep it flowing is good internet.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the things that is so hurtful. I've seen drivers go for championships and see their championship hopes of being one of the favorites just snuffed out last race because their internet dropped randomly, and it's heartbreaking, and really you just feel their heart sink in that moment. But it certainly is a hard thing. It's right now, this is the madness and the love of short track racing here at Dover. Lap traffic now a major factor because of those drivers that were involved in those wrecks. Some decided not to use a fast repair, so now they are extremely off the pace, and they're being caught by our leaders.
And Dennis Moore is still the man leading. Anderson in the number 2 spot, of course. Now remember, Caden Anderson, who's in second, Samuel, he was the first repeat winner of the season to have 2 wins. Of course, that was at Atlanta and Las Vegas for the Northwest Cup Series on Monday night. And right now, Anderson trying to do the exact same thing, because right now, only drivers that have won in the top 10 is Onenbacher and Anderson. Onenbacher won Daytona. Anderson, of course, won earlier in the season the following week at Richmond.
Yeah, I mean, all these drivers are up for the best. A little bit of a scary moment there for that of Aaron Cooper, and as well, going to be the 17 of Duncan. And, you know, for all these drivers here, Wesley, I mean, getting that win is so nice to have, knowing that you've got that. And I talked about a bunch of safety nets. Some, they have a safety net for each race with a fast repair. But finally being able to say that you're a winner and that you don't have to worry about points moving forward. It's more of, okay, how do I get into a rhythm and a pace for the rest of the season, because now I have a win that is so important to have. As Cole Raz, this is kind of shocking to see. He is continuously losing ground,
Falling back.
now under pressure for 5th.
And by the way, I want to apologize, Samuel. I just looked at the official stats here, and I was looking at the paper, quickly glancing back to the broadcast monitor, and Caden Anderson has had 2 poles. It is being John Annenbacher at Daytona, Kevin Smith at Richmond. I think I said it was Caden Anderson. He was on the pole. Kevin Smith won the race. Devin West won the dirt race at Bristol, and Stephen O'Hare won last week. So with that said, Samuel, Caden Anderson has not won on the Northwest Truck Series yet this year.
Yeah, he's still looking for that first win, and honestly, here tonight was looking like one of his best opportunities to do so until Dennis Moore showed up. I mean, I was honestly thinking this was the full Raz Caden Anderson show with Zane Smith being removed and pushed out of the way and spun around. But I mean, Dennis Moore, what a run for himself in the 44 machine. But we cannot count out the 00 of Kevin Smith. If a caution comes out, Smith is in 8th place. He has been working so hard each and every lap. 00 was all the way back in that 23rd position, now up to 8th. This has been an incredible comeback for a driver that was a lap down after that first yellow that he was part of.
Oh, certainly, for sure, no doubt about it. And as it stands right now, still a long way to go. We haven't even got to halfway yet. Yes, we're about 5 laps or so to the halfway flag. For the most part, Samuel, you know, we had that problem on the start. 2 cautions in the opening, 30 laps of the race, but since then, or opening 25 laps of the race, if I want to be honest here. But since then, it's been smooth. And we talked about that when we came on the air in the pre-race show for quick introductions before qualifying. You can have a calamity and yellow flags here at Dover on the concrete jungle, but you can also have the lengthy green flag runs that might cycle into green flag pit stops and be bold strategy to determine the winner. And Samuel, I think we're about to see that here in about another 20 laps.
Oh, it's very possible for these drivers to go into a long green flag run. That's actually how this race ended for that of last season. Last season, I mean, it was a much longer race. It was 200 laps here at Dover, not the 140 that we're running this season. So the drivers getting a little bit of a, understanding, okay, this is a little bit more of a sprint that we're dealing with. But at the same time, we are into, because of those 2 cautions and how long that first yellow was on pacing, it's enabled these drivers now to get to halfway of this race before they make even their first pit stop. I thought we might be seeing drivers hit around lap 60 to 45. That was going to be my window for drivers that were going to think about turning this race into a 2-stop. I think everyone now is in the mentality of, if we're going to stay green from that last yellow we had, this race is going to be a 1-stop race, and it's about how we can save those tires the best.
And you got to remember what that old analogy always is: to first finish the race, you first must finish. To win the race, you got to first finish, and you got to stay out of trouble. And obviously, we've had some drivers that had some bad luck earlier, and now they're just trying to lie in the weeds and stay out of trouble, if you will, Samuel, to try to be there at the end. We're coming up on halfway this time by, with Dennis Moore leading, Anderson in second, Ryan Bloom in third, and somewhere along the way, there is going to be green flag pit stops as the rest of the field crosses the start-finish line, and the cross flags are in the air here at Dover.
Halfway through, and it's all Dennis Moore by 2 seconds over that of Caden Anderson, and a couple of drivers of note that have really had some great runs of rebounding. Jeff Stabnow now getting by John Allbacher for 6th place. Great run for the 24 that was involved in that first wreck, had to utilize that fast repair, didn't even take tires in fuel, just used the fast repair, got back out there on track, did a great job, restarted back in 12th, now up to 6th, showing that speed, 9.5 seconds back from our leader of Dennis Moore, but hey, you love to see the fact that they're still fighting, even with the fact that it was such a setback just in lap 4.
As we watch these drivers working their way back across the start-finish line. Look at Jeff Stabnow from Billings, Montana. And yes, we see Scott Hutchinson, the 91, coming down to the pit lane. Everybody will be getting to pit here very, very soon, Samuel. But right now, everybody in the top 10 staying in position on the racetrack. The interval now to second to first. Anderson to Dennis Moore, 2.15 seconds. And remember, in addition to them racing for 1 and 2, flip-flop them. They're 1 and 2 with Anderson, the points leader, on 7 points on Dennis Moore going into round 5 here tonight at Dover.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I mean, points leaders, you love to see when you're leading in points just based off consistency. Maybe you both don't have wins this season, even running up front, and even showing here tonight, your points leaders, they can run well. But at the same time, this is Dover. Anything can happen in an instant as we're watching that of Kevin Smith now climbing up to 7th. Soon to see Jeff Stabnow is just about a half a second ahead, just flying through this course. Our pole sitter right now about 0.2 off of what our leader of Dennis Moore's running, but that's in the middle of traffic that this 00 is putting down these laps. Just wondering what would have clean air have looked like as John Ottenbacher and that is Smith, as well as Jeff Stabnow, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Right now, just in kind of cruise control, but they are gonna have to worry about going a lap down if they don't pick up this pace, as we're past halfway. But right now, if we continue at this run, Dennis Moore could put down our top 7 to 6 drivers, at least get to those drivers, and seal our top 5 on the lead lap.
Kevin Smith, one of those drivers that, of course, has won this year. He won round 2 at Richmond. Driver out of Hermiston, Washington, and here comes Jeff Stabnow, the LSRTV Sierra Sports Truck 4K Ford, coming down to the pit lane, and he is going to be coming down for service. We mentioned green flag pit stops, and here we go, Samuel, as he gives up a top 10 run right now on the racetrack to pit.
Yeah, and going to be one of the first drivers that's going to be inside of our top drivers that are on the lead lap, going to be coming into pit road. It's kind of a shocker to see. Also, Eric Cox going to be joining in with the 24 into pit road, and it's so slow coming into pit road. The pace speed for these drivers when they're in pit road, only 35 miles per hour, while the rest of the field that's out on track climbing up to 155, 57, and only dropping down to about 130 miles per hour at this track at their slowest. Just showing if you come in and you're too passive when coming into pit road, you easily can be finding yourself going a lap, 2, maybe even 3 laps down if you're not careful.
And we are going to see this cycle of green flag pit stops continue to go on and progress throughout this race, at least within the next 10 laps, to cycle it around. And if Dennis Moore's lucky, if he can play his cars right, Samuel, he can be one of those guys that can be right back up there in the front with a pit stop cycle back to him being the leader. Here comes Raz here. Raz is pitting. Burke is pitting. Applegate is pitting. Breitzman's pitting. All this going on. Dennis Moore's on pit lane. Ryan Bloom is on pit lane. Heading your way, Samuel Dyer. Dennis Moore coming in.
Yeah, I mean, this is big for Dennis Moore to come in. I always talk about the Goldilocks pit road. You always want to be right in the middle of when drivers are coming into pit road. Usually when you're coming to that final pit stop, you got drivers that are going to come in and try to do an undercut, where they're trying to be the first drivers coming to pit road. You got some that are going to find that sweet middle ground. I think that's where Dennis Moore, also that of Cole Raz, might have found. Kane Anderson, also Casey Duncan, both deciding to stay out. Also that of Kevin Smith, and also Clifford of Toby Ritters staying out there on track. Our top 5, that are Carl Burke as well, all deciding to stay out for an extra couple of laps. I mean, their goal, just to have the freshest tires and potentially have enough time to gain all this track position that they're losing by staying out these extra laps.
Caden Anderson is now the new leader as he works turn 3 under the Ally Bridge. He's coming to pit now. I said, when is he gonna pit? He pits now as Tyler King roars by him and a host of other trucks as well. And now Toby Ritters will have a moment to shine as he'll be the new leader in P1 when they come back to the scoring loop in truck number 23. Clifford will go to the top spot, at least until he pits Samuel. Anderson's coming to the pit lane now.
Yeah, right now, with Anderson coming into pit road, this is a great time. He's going to have plenty of time during this race to try to gain all that track position and and time that he's given up by staying out these extra 3 to 4, 5 laps over some of the other drivers. But there's Clifford in the 23. W Ritters leading here tonight. One of the last drivers that needs to come to pit road. Sean Breitzman also going to be one of the drivers that needs to come in, and also that of Will Duvall. And finishing out the drivers that need to come in, it's going to be Dan Lowther, Ray Forner, as well as Tyler King, as those drivers are multiple laps down. But for Toby Ritters, at this point, he's banking on a yellow. He needs a yellow to come out if he wants to find himself staying in the lead lap. But here it comes, and oh no, a unsafe pit entry, and almost finding himself with contact from other drivers.
As Ritters now brings his truck around the corner out of turn 4 down to the start-finish line on the pit lane, he will come in for service. Ritters pits. Now the legend Carl Burke will be the new leader. And Samuel, as I anticipated, as soon as this cycles back around, look who's back up in front. Beaver State Racing, number 4 of Dennis Moore.
Yeah, Dennis Moore expected to be the new leader, but that's if Carl Burke is able to survive and get into pit road. The 53, under the last yellow, the second caution of the day, did come into pit road, took 4 tires and fuel. So the 53 could still stay out here for another 5 to 10 more laps before the rest of the field. Now, he's losing time by staying out here. But right now, for Carl Burke, he's banking on a yellow, and he's got to be careful making sure that he's not the cause of the yellow.
Oh, and by the way, Samuel, Dennis Moore is still running him down also. 2.5 seconds, 2 seconds the interval now to Carl Burke, as Dennis Moore is trying all he can racing-wise to run down the 53. So if he doesn't do it by pitting, Burke will probably get past on the racetrack, as he's cut that lead in less than a lap, Samuel, by almost 2 seconds. Moore is after Burke for the lead in 53, and here he comes.
Yeah, I mean, you can just tell the difference. I mean, Dennis Moore, full song, and oh boy, found the entry on the exit of turn 4. I thought he was going to run over the 53 for a second there, but takes the lead, pulling away. And Wesley, I think what's even crazier, by hitting 3 laps sooner than Caden Anderson, having over 4.4 seconds over the 37.
That was awesome. If I can't run you down when you make a pit stop, I will run you down on my own by racing on the track. And that's exactly what he did. And Carl Burke, I think, realized this, Samuel. All right, I might have been ahead of the game, but I'm way, way behind the game right now. I need to pit and catch up with everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, he was banking on a yellow, and at that point, it was going to be the yellow with how much faster the rest of the field, being over 3 seconds faster than the 53. You kind of have to come into pit road at that point and see other drivers get into the wall. I believe that was the 8 of Nichols that had trouble behind as we're watching that of Paul Newton racing on track. And for these drivers, this is just cruise control. Hope for the best finish that you can get. And for, I think the majority of this field, Wesley, they're, after when this race started, they're happy to see some green flag racing.
And you've got to remember, Samuel, also that as we approach lap 100, you know, the strategy is we're on a massive green flag run. We had a caution flag, what, at lap 23, 24? So it's lap 94. So that's been, what, close to 70 laps green flag?
Yeah, it's close to that green flag racing for these drivers. As saw there, the 54 of Gamble get a little bit out of sorts, able to hold on to right on board with the Bengals machine and get a sense of what it's like here at Dover. As you know, these drivers, some their goal gets low and close to where the concrete and asphalt connect, where the apron is. Some think in the middle, the one spot that no one ever thinks about going because it's too slow, is going up high. You do not want to be high unless you're slow and you are losing ground. You want that middle to low access of the turns that you want to be in. As we're riding and taking a lap there. I mean, Robert Gamble, great run for the 54, who's currently in 9th place.
And be there at the end as well, as Dennis Moore is still the man leading. There's Robert Gamble. Of course, they were the AFC champions of the NFL, the Cincinnati Bengals. And another Cincinnati team the Cincinnati Reds defeated the Atlanta Braves, the defending World Series champions of baseball. Samuel, I love my racing, buddy, but I love baseball, America's greatest pastime, and today was opening day.
Yeah, it's good to see baseball back. I wasn't sure if we were going to see opening day with the way that offseason was going. Luckily, they got it cleaned up. We got our baseball back, and I'm ready to see how the season goes. I'm a San Francisco Giants fan, but I'm excited to see how the rest of the season goes for the rest of the MLB.
So if you are a San Francisco Giants fan, as we're approaching lap 100 and we're seeing Raz and Duncan battle again, which seems like we've seen that battle several times today. Dennis Moore still leading. By the way, Anderson second. This is for fourth, as Duncan clears by Raz for putting him to fifth. Duncan 4. You're a fan of the San Francisco Giants. Have you ever seen the movie The Fan with Robert De Niro?
I have not seen that movie.
Okay, well, you need, if you ever get a chance to in your life, I know you're a busy man like I am, but if you ever do get a chance to go on, I don't know, a video app or download it or whatever, The Fan with Robert De Niro. He's an obsessed baseball fan with one of the players from the Giants, and Wesley Snipes plays the actor.
Oh, boy.
Whoa! Hold on, Breitzman.
Going to be seeing that driver staying high out of the way, and that's going to be Applegate, who's going to be having the trouble there for the 67. Just got on an outside wall, clipped it, and oh boy, almost hit it again. This girl Burke's never able to get by, but this is that time of the race when drivers are recognizing you got to full send. You got to get everything you can, because we're coming up to just 40 laps to go.
Yeah, that was inside the top 20, 17 through 19 with Breitzman, Burke, and Applegate. And here's something else also, Sammy D. They're several laps down. We're 100 laps on the board. We're 40 laps to go here at Dover Motor Speedway, and you're exactly right. It's time to go into stealth mode and hit that go pedal and try to be there at the finish and get as many runs up through the field you can to have a solid finish tonight.
And as we're watching madness here, again, these are the drivers are inside the top 20, and that was just a giant cluster of drivers. But with it being green flag pit stops, that means everyone's on their own different types of ideas of when they want to come into pit road. That means different tire wear have been hit. Different drivers are on brand new, fresher tires. Others, Toby Ritter's 12th currently, and with the fact that the speed we're seeing for the 23, potentially Toby Ritter's could be a driver watching out to go for a top 10 finish here tonight.
Watching these guys working their way around the racetrack. Jeff Stabnow, as we mentioned earlier, right now in the number 6 position, there's the Daytona winner, John Ottenbacher. Kevin Smith, they battle for 7th and 8th. That's behind Jeff Stabnow. Smith goes to 7th.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the times that Smith's putting down. Smith could get up to the top, I would say top up to 6 by Jeff Stabnow, even a potential of even cracking the top 5. And that's just been a recovery day for Kevin Smith. Excited to see how he's running for himself. But, and I got to say, this has been one of those races, Wesley, where, yes, we had those early cautions, but this has been a blast to watch this green flag action as each driver finding their little spot where they want to get going. And here we go, and talk about potentially cracking the top 10. Well, here comes that of Toby Ritter's. Well, that's for 11th as Vining goes low.
Well, so much for that. As we are watching them, you're exactly right. Vining low, the Catman though. Samuel, what a run for the Catman though. James Vining getting right back in the top 10. He's in 12th now.
I mean, I think James Vining, I mean, he qualified 2nd this race. I mean, he had a great qualifying run. It was just some poor, racing where the fact that he just doesn't have the long run speed where everyone else really truly has. The 7, Johnson gets a little bit slow there. The 23 as well. I mean, the 22, excuse me, going to be having themselves a little bit of a tussle there of Hunter as well as Johnson. They've got to be careful with one another. Johnson, I mean, he's trying his best just to stay running consistent, but this is difficult for I think the majority of these drivers getting this later into a run. You've been so aggressive since getting out of pit road, and now you're kind of feeling those repercussions of maybe I was a little too aggressive once I got the fresh tires.
Once you got those fresh tires, set yourself up, and this battle continuing here. What a fun race it has been for sure. And not done yet, mind you.
Oh, no. Yeah, well, I don't think we're... that's the big thing. I mean, Kevin Smith now up to 6th. He's going to be 1.4 seconds away from Boraz. And then after that, I think it might be a little bit too far for Smith to be getting more grounds on drivers ahead. Looking at some of the other drivers that have been very quick on track, Toby Ritters, I think he was shocking me. He's still the fastest truck on track. It's the 23. Toby Ritters in 11th. He's soon to be cracking into the top 10. It's been a blast to see different drivers having some of their best runs of the season, even with some of the misfortunes in the first 4 races.
There's Jeff Stabnow, the all-time starter of the Northwest Series. Tonight, Samuel, he made his 339th start. 339 starts, 64 wins. Correction, my apologies, 54 poles, 37 wins. For the driver of Jeff Stabnow from Billings, Montana. All-time total, 146 top 5s, 213 top 10s, and he's still one of those guys that you can always keep an eye on in the fight.
I mean, Jeff Stabnow, you think of last season, the misfortunes of the whole entire year, both in the Cup, trucks. You got a little bit of, you know, a gas affair, you know, winning the Arca Series at Iowa at the end of the season. You got to be feeling good for that as Toby Ritters makes the pass, now cracking into the top 10. As that of Brett Johnson now going to be losing ground and faltering back. But Wesley, what a season it was for Jeff Stabnow last year. And now, I mean, you come back, you got to just reset and hope for the best.
Got to have a reset. You've got to start all over again. As there goes the number 7, Brett Johnson, LSRTV Monster Energy Chevrolet Silverado, working his way to the 3rd turn. Got himself a good run going. As a matter of fact, he officially became a member of the live sim racing team on Monday night. There's a new wrap job and the designs on that Munster LSRTV truck for the number 7. Got himself a good spot going right now.
Good looking scheme, and now the battling that's going on for 5th place. Kevin Smith onto that of Cole Raz, and Raz got to be careful. As Smith going to be having that of 3-lap fresher tires, and there goes the 0-0 down low. A little bit of revenge potentially here. They're rubbing, they're banging off one another. Remember, that Raz that took out the 0-0. Morphine and banging off the corner, past the let off, and now you're going to need a little bit of space. And we're going to go side by side for a quick moment as Smith is certainly going to catch him back when we come back to this commercial.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
And we're back. 22 laps to go here at Dover. Samuel Tire, Wesley Outland back here with you. There's the battle that continues, as you saw side by side, between Cole Raz and Kevin Smith. And Samuel, now Tyler King, has stuck his nose in this gunfight, but he is several laps down on the racetrack in 23rd.
Yeah, 9 laps down. Here to at least give a little bit of pressure, but not expecting that of King to really try to make a pass. But now for that of Kevin Smith, he's got to reset. Like I said before, going to side by side, he's right there. He's got the speed, but at this point, it might be the fact of too much pressure behind that could be hurting the 0-0. As here comes King on the outside. fresh tires potentially can make this work, but at the same time, I mean, King is just making things so much more frustrating for Smith. 20 laps to go for the field.
Yeah, exactly right. As we continue to see this go to 20 remaining down to the home stretch, if you will, with Dennis Moore, the man out in front, Anderson to the second spot, Bloom to third, and there's Kevin Smith, and there is King. And again, keep King out of the equation. He's several laps down. The guys you got to watch is for 5th and 6th, Samuel, the burgundy 10 and the white yellow 00 of Kevin Smith.
I mean, the woes of this race started with these two. It was the 10 of Cole Raz that got underneath the 00 of that of Kevin Smith, spun him around 4 laps into this race. Aggressive blocking for the 00, aggressive move by that of Raz. And now the goal is who's going to be inside of the top 10 as it's 18 laps to go. But Smith had been using up so much of his tires. I think at this point it has to just take 5 laps. Just understand, gotta cool off, let these tires not just melt them away, and then pounce, attacking those final 10 laps. Try your best. You gotta wait before you can go and hope that Raz maybe overuses his stuff.
Be there at the end, as you say. Hope you play your cards right. You're there when it counts the most. As these laps do tick away to the finish. Look at Smith up the racetrack. He's losing ground now from Raz. 16 to go. You want a stat? We've been green flagged since almost lap 25. We had two cautions, a massive pile up to start things, then a little truck spin, if you will. After that, Samuel, it has been green to the finish. My question is this: do they got enough fuel, and can the tires hold out to go to the finish, or do we see a late race green flag pit stop?
I'm feeling good on the fact that they can make it on both tires and fuel. Those first 2 cautions, especially because of the first one that had us being under pacing for that of, I believe, 12 laps under yellow flag pacing because of how shuffled up everyone had gone after that major first wreck on lap 4. It actually allowed a lot of the drivers to save their tires and fuel to stretch this thing out, and what potentially was looking like a 2-stop race has turned into a 1-stop for the majority of this field, as there goes Robert Gable too high. That's another position. Toby Ritter's in the 23 Clifford machine, and this has been incredible to watch, especially the fact that we have been able to stay green for this long, even though there's been a handful of moments that I thought we were going to see a wreck here or there.
Yes, there were a couple of times that I honestly thought we would see green caution, green caution, green caution. For the most part, though, they have hung and stayed contently in spots, ready to go here to the finish. As we're 13 laps to go. Moore is the leader. Anderson and Bloom. Either way we look at it, Samuel, Dennis Moore, what a performance. He did what he needed to do on the racetrack as we're approaching a dozen laps remaining. He's beating his man, Caden Anderson, who's up in front of him on the points championship by 7 points coming into this race. So that cuts in on that lead point. And in addition to that, he will become the 5th different winner in 5 races. If the 44 can hold on, as you look on at Robert Campbell as well, with a solid run for him in the top 10. Though he's a lap down, there's only 8 trucks in the lead lap, Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, look at the whole entire front half of this field. I mean, our top 6, any one of them can win. If anyone that's in our top 6 wins, that is our 5th race, 5th different winner. It's going to be John Otbacher in 7th place. Will be our first driver to become a multi-time winner if somehow our front 6 all get wrecked out here. But that is that's asking for a lot. But you can tell, hard racing. Smith still sees Grant in front of him, and Grant in multiple different ways. The red truck, and also I would imagine wants to get a little bit of revenge if possible here.
10, now make it 9 laps to go here at the concrete jungle of Dover Motor Speedway. 3 seconds the lead Dennis Moore has over Caden Anderson. Ryan Bloom, the 2021 ARCA Northwest champion of last year, sitting comfortable in the number 3 position. Casey Duncan with a good run to the top 5 and 4th. And Cole Raz, amongst all of the craziness that's gone on, he's in 5th. But can he hold on, Samuel? Because Kevin Smith is right on his crosshairs as they come to the line in 7 to go.
I mean, lap 4, it was that of Kevin Smith leading the way. Cole Raz was in 2nd, spun around the 0-0, put Kevin Smith 1 lap down, back in 28th position. Before we had that second yellow, the second yellow got the 0-0 back on the lead lap, and ever since then, we've been clean green, and the 0-0 has climbed up from 28th place up to 6th and almost back into the top 5 as we've been under green flag racing.
7. Now make it 6 laps to go as Dennis Moore in his own world is out in front. Moore, there he is, the Beaver State Racing Machine. And what a performance for him tonight. Picking them off one by one. Samuel staying out of trouble. First thing he did to accomplish, missed the big one. He did that. And then he did everything he could to fight and claw with Raz and Anderson and anyone else that got in his path. On this night, the top dog is Dennis Moore with the laps coming to the finish of this race.
We look back as, oh boy, there's a deep run there by Kevin Smith right on the back bumper of the 10. It's all right, it's 5 laps to go, it's time full send. Smith, who's been waiting, letting those tires cool off, he's right back to the back bumper. But for that of Dennis Moore, I mean, what a season that he had last season. Came in, had such a fabulous rookie start, joined Beaver State Racing halfway through, and completely transformed that team into contenders. They almost all made it into the playoffs, and Dennis Moore, he's been working on those long run setups, and it's worked out so well. Now being the leader with 4 laps to go. But Wesley, it's time to make the call. Who's in the top 5?
That's exactly right, and there might be some impatience for that matter of who wants that spot. As Smith has closed in, so has Johnson up on Raz. He gave him a punt. He moves him up the middle. They clear by the 57. Get out of the way. Smith blocked by lap trucks. He's got nowhere to go. Raz now gets some company as he's going to have the bonsai of Smith to the inside. 3 remaining. And in addition to that, you have also the other trucks laps down like James Vining and more in front of them.
I mean, what a power move. I mean, the 0-0 just basically shoved the 10 up and said, you get out of the way, I'll get by the lap traffic, and you ain't going to have a chance to get some revenge back at me.
And all the while, Dennis Moore will come to the line. Here he comes down the front straightaway. He'll see the CRN 1 to go. White flag goes in the air. 1 more lap remaining. Dennis Moore, the Beaver State Racing entry. Final time down the back straightaway, looking to be 5 for 5 on the year.
Incredible run by the 44, just showed the pace in the long run and conquered over that of Kennedy Anderson Racing.
Coming off of turn number 4, he tames the concrete jungle. Dennis Moore, the Beaver State Racing 44, wins round 5 of the Northwest Racing Series Trucks at Dover. Second spot will go to Caden Anderson, almost 2 seconds back. Cup race winner for the Northwest on Monday at Vegas. Ryan Bloom, the ARCA champion of last year, will finish 3rd. Kevin Smith gets around Cole Raz, Samuel, to finish in a top 5 spot as well. What a great race tonight Dover provided. It had it all. It had the cautions. It had the long green flag runs. It had the length of the pit stops. It had the strategy to save your tires and fuel at the end. And then the go-send the final 20 laps. What a race this race provided.
It was absolutely incredible. The 44 going to be our 5th trucks winner out of 5 races, continuing that streak. And as well, starting the Beaver State, 2 wins in a row for Beaver State. It was O'Hare last week, and that of Moore this week.
And Kevin Smith giving the proverbial slam there to Dennis Moore. Anyone else got any punch to give the Chevrolet? There goes Tyler King. Obviously, he's a teammate of the Beaver State clan. There. Oh, I saw sparks. Oh, my goodness. Toby Ritters, Ryan Bloom. All of them celebrating. Hey, Samuel, how about Toby Ritters? Got to give props to him, bud. A top 10 finish tonight in the Clifford number 23 truck tonight. Wow.
I mean, he waited as long as he could before coming into the pit road, and honestly, it was incredible to watch. I mean, with 40 laps to go, Toby Ritter's had the fastest truck, and for about 23 laps, oh boy, we can see it's just the top, but there was a driver that went absolutely up to the moon as they're still wrecking, having fun. But Toby Ritter, it was incredible to see the fact that he was just climbing his way through with a top 10 finish here tonight.
So let's look at our time and scoring, and we'll give you the unofficial results here tonight, Samuel, for this event. Dennis Moore is the winner. He's the 5th different winner on the series. Of course, it's going to be a good points day, but the man that's leading the points, Caden Anderson, finishes right behind him in 2nd. There were 7 points coming into the race tonight. They're 1 and 2. Ryan Bloom will finish 3rd. Kevin Smith will, of course, finish in 4th, and 5th is Cole Raz. Casey Duncan, 6th. John Audenbacher is 7th. Jeff Stabnow, a solid run, top 10 in 8th. Toby Ritters, another great job for Clifford, 9th, again, as we mentioned. And Robert Gamble is in the top 10.
And starting in 2nd for this race, but coming away with 11th place finish, it's going to be 3:33 of the Catman, James Vining, with Sean Breitzman coming away with 12th place. Paul Newton in 12th place is Sean Breitzman. 13th is going to be Paul Newton, with that of 14th going to Brett Johnson in the 7, with Carl Burke getting 15th. 16th goes to Kason Garber. 17th goes to Aaron Cooper. 18th goes to Ron Hunter. David Applegate's going to come up with 19th. Finishing out your top 20 goes to Troy Daggett.
And by the way, 14 trucks were on the lead lap. It was Carl Burke on back a lap down or out of the race, including Ray Fournier, 21st. Tyler King is 22nd. Dan Lowther, 23rd. He had a strong running earlier, but then fell back. Eric Cox, 24th. Tyler Kim in the top 25. Chris Camary, B.J. Duval, Gary Nichols, Scott Hutchinson, and Bryce Clark finishes in the top 30. B.J. Tidrick, several laps down along with Bryce Clark. Frank Harris involved in the big one. Roy Grande and Dana Rogers also, I don't believe, able to come off the pit lane and start this race as well. When we come back, Samuel and myself will do the finish line post-race wrap-up. We'll catch up with Ryan Bloom 3rd, Caden Anderson 2nd, and the 5th different winner on the series. Talk about competition and competitiveness. Now add Dennis Moore to the win column. It's all coming up. iRacing on LSRTV and the Community Radio Network from Dover. It's time for the finish line post-race wrap-up, and after round number 5 here tonight at Dover, we're going to talk to the top 3. We'll grab a word with the winner of course, Dennis Moore in Beaver State Racing 44 in just a moment. But first, 3rd place, Ryan Bloom, defending ARCA Northwest Series champion. Ryan, I keep saying this, bud, you're getting better and better and better in Trucking Cup competition on the podium here tonight at Dover. You're taking the race.
Oh, thanks, Wesley. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Didn't expect to go one stop and green flag run the whole time, but yeah, I ran into a little bit of engine problems with a little too much tape on it, so I had to back off a little bit. And fortunately, it was just Dennis was too much, and Caden was strong, and just was never able to catch back up. I kept hoping for caution, maybe group us all back up, and maybe get another chance to make a pit stop and get another adjustment on there, but didn't quite have the right adjustment on my only stop. And so, yeah, I'm getting closer. I'll take 3rd, but really hungry for getting a win. So just got to get a little better on the setups.
I mean, Ryan, a strong run for yourself, your best finish of this season so far in the trucks. I was just wondering, with how long this race had stayed green, from your perspective, how difficult was it, though, trying to carve your way through lap traffic with us staying green for that whole entire time?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, there's a couple guys that want to race hard, but for the most part, guys are willing to kind of let you through when you got a run going and when they're lap down. So That wasn't too bad. Again, Dennis was just too strong again in his great setups and his skills. So I just wasn't able to group back up, and Caden kind of gapped me a little bit on that second run. So all in all, good day. Just wish I was a little better.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, it's good to see you continue to climb for sure. So it's on to the next one. Obviously, the Cup Series on the dirt at Bristol next week, and then the trucks move on to their next race. Of course, we're off next Thursday as well for Easter break, so it's going to be nice to have a little break. But, man, thank your sponsors, and good job to you. Third place tonight.
Yeah, thanks. I want to thank my teammates Thunder Road Racing. We all had a good team showing tonight, and just thanks for all their help and putting the setups together and their feedback and the time they put in. And then I just want to thank you guys, LSRTV, another great job broadcasting, and it's always a pleasure to go back and watch the race. So appreciate it, and also want to thanks the admins, Jeff and Sean, all the time they put in, and all the other admins for the work they do. So appreciate it. Thanks.
Third place to the driver, Ryan Bloom. Second spot now, going to go and chat it up and talk to this man. Of course, it's Caden Anderson. He came into this race as the points leader, winning the Cup race on, of course, Monday night in Vegas. Two-time winner at that series, Atlanta and Vegas. And poles, so close. But, Caden, your take of this race here tonight. This was an interesting start of things. We thought it was going to be caution field. Then it was that long, massive green flag run to the finish. Strategy of the event, you happy with second?
Yeah, I'm happy with second. I'm glad that we had some green flag runs there, and I was kind of worried about doing a shorter pit like Dennis did, just because in the past, this year, it feels like every time you tried strategy, you get screwed over by caution. So I felt like there at the end we were kind of closing in on him, whether he was saving or not. But it's good to know that we're actually getting green flag runs in now, and you can actually do strategy to try to win these races.
I mean, Caden, you're always going to be one of the drivers top 5 of the list whenever you come out to these races. You still haven't found yourself a victory lane. Do you feel like it is coming, though? One of these tracks is coming up, because you have been finishing up front, it feels like almost every single race. Yeah,
I feel like that we've had a rough start to the season, and I would say everybody has, looking at the standings, and nobody's had a top 5 every 10 or all top 10 all 5 races. So that's pretty astounding. But we're still a points leader, and we're having good finishes, and we're still running up front. So I feel like the wins will come when the time's right, and just got to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, by the way, the points have updated, and you're exactly right, Caden Anderson. You now have a 4-point lead over the driver of Dennis Moore, who won here tonight. So it's still a very close battle. 8 new men climbing the ladder: Kevin Smith, Cole Raz, Ryan Bloom again with the top 3. He climbs in the points as well. So it's all about points. Final question, and you can also thank your sponsors. Is it too early to be thinking about points racing, looking for a championship, not even in the playoffs yet, or is this something that's always in the back of your mind, especially you being the guy with the bullseye on your chest?
I mean, leading and having the points lead is always great. Is it a little early? Yeah, probably, but it doesn't hurt you to still try to be consistent and run up front, because if you can get that started now, then it's going to carry throughout the season. So yes and no. I do think that it does matter in certain aspects, and I think it doesn't in certain aspects.
All right. Sponsor time.
Yeah, I want to thank Harvest Chevrolet and the Studio 10 Wraps.
There you go. That's the driver to Yakima, Washington, Caden Anderson, picking up another good finish. He's a 4-point lead now over the winner that we're going to talk to right now, who was the 5th different winner after tonight at Dover Motor Speedway. That is the driver, of course, of Dennis Moore. Beaver State Racing's got to be excited. Congratulations, Dennis.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're pumped. Back-to-back wins. Like Caden said, it's nice to get good green flag runs. I normally build long run setups, and it definitely paid off tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that long run setup, Dennis, certainly did come in. When you started to notice, when we were starting to get that beginning of our long green flag run, we were starting to stay green, at what point did you realize, okay, I might have the fastest truck out here if we continue to keep this race green?
When I started battling with Caden and Cole there, I knew those two guys are always fast. So if I'm on their bumper and we're racing hard trying to get by them, and so I knew at that point that I had a better long runs truck than they did. So as long as it stayed green, I felt pretty comfortable with the way the race was going to turn out.
And by the way, the reason why he refers to back-to-back wins, it is for Beaver State Racing. Stephen O'Hare picked up the win last Thursday night in round number 4 here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and then tonight here at Dover Motor Speedway for, of course, Dennis Moore. Dennis, Beaver State Racing's got to be on a good momentum train this year because of that, and you're only 4 points back for a championship run.
Yeah, we're really excited about this year. I feel like all 5 of us, my brother included, should compete with a win every single week. Hopefully get some guys in the championship. I'm glad I locked myself in tonight, and I'm looking forward to Darlington.
On to the next one, Darlington, after the Easter break. Again, we're off next Thursday. So, with that being said, Dennis, we'll let you go, man. Congratulations to you. Big win. Thank your sponsors.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank Tyler. He put a new paint scheme on the truck. I got more speed on the side. It's a little setup shop I made. Beaver State Racing, LSRTV, and all the admins, and the Northwest Racing Series.
He makes the, of course, 5th different winner in 5 races. He now holds a 4-point lead in second over Caden Anderson, has a 4-point lead over him. But Beaver State Racing is now 2 for 2 with race wins with Stephen O'Hare at Vegas and now him tonight at Dover. That is the driver, of course, the 44, Dennis Moore. Samuel, your final take on things, buddy. We're going to be off next week for at least Easter Thursday. We come back on the 21st for the race at Darlington. The truck race is off again next Thursday. Cup is at Bristol, or Cup is at Bristol for the dirt race. Man, Northwest has just been fun this year. Cup, truck, Monday, Thursday night, iRacing on LSRTV, Community Radio Network. If you can't watch it and listen, it's been some great racing so far. Your take on 2022?
I mean, it has been incredible. The competition. I mean, Wesley, 5 races, 5 different winners here in the Truck Series. And that is just showing the pace and consistency of you never know what's going to happen. I mean, that's the one thing I'm loving about these guys is the fact that we really don't know. Each week we might come in, we got our notes from last season, who could be fast, who might be someone to watch out for qualifying or for, race trim. But each and every race, you don't know what you're going to see. I mean, here tonight, lap 4, the big one strikes. We usually see that about super speedway racing, but at the Monster Mile, it certainly did eat up a lot of trucks. And I'm excited for this week off because then we get Darlington and then a 4-week streak of just straight 1.5 cookie cutter courses. I'm excited for it.
You're exactly right. And again, of course, we're off next week for Easter. Don't forget the Northwest Cup cars are on the Bristol Dirt Race. We saw the trucks the other couple of weeks ago where Devin West won that one. We'll see if he can try to be the repeat winner for the Cup cars as well, as he did win that race last year. He did it with the trucks a couple of weeks ago. Darlington, Kansas, Atlanta, Charlotte, Texas, as Samuel mentioned, all on the way. Northwest Racing Series on Facebook, and of course, as always, at LSRTV and at CRN Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Be good to one another. Thank you so much for watching. For everybody at Rocket Media, Live Sim Racing, Charles Wooten, Jeff Stabnow, for Samuel Dyer, I'm Wesley Outland. Congratulations, Beaver State Racing, Dennis Moore, 5th winner for the Northwest Trucks. Happy Easter. God bless you all. Thanks again for watching and listening.